Right here. Okay, someone says to you, the Bible's the fairy tale. What do I point to? Well, the Bible's many different things. One, some of the things are parables. What's a parable? It is a story. Carolyn and I are going to take a trip for the church. It's going to be a study trip, so we're going to have scholars from Israel meet us, both Christians and Jewish scholars. It's going to be October 31st through November 10th, 2012. And one of the places that your tour guide, they'll take us, they'll say, oh, let's get off the bus here. This is the Good Samaritan Inn. This is where the Good Samaritan took the guy that was all beaten up on the road, and everyone gets off the bus but me, because I know there was no Good Samaritan Inn. It's really a medieval from the Crusader period building, and when Jesus told the story of Good Samaritan, it was a story to illustrate a point. See, a parable is a story to illustrate a point. Some people would call that a fairy tale, but it's a fairy tale with meaning. So there are places in the Bible that were meant to be fairy tales with meanings. The guy said to Jesus, who's my neighbor? And so Jesus really created this Samaritan who was an enemy of the Jews as the person we should love. There's also hyperbole in the Bible. You know what hyperbole is? John, I'm not going to ask you because I wouldn't know if I hadn't looked this up. But do you know what it is? It's exaggeration. So Jesus said, man, if your eye causes you to lust, pluck it out. Well, there'd be every man in this room, man, would be eyeballless. Or if your hand, okay, so there's hyperbole in the Bible. There's metaphor, there's poetry. So when people say stuff like the Bible says it's wrong scientifically because it says the sun revolves around the earth, I looked at that closely this week, and that's poetic language. Even that they might have thought back then the sun revolved around the earth. That was not important. The Bible was not meant to be a book on science. But when you really look at it, that's not a fair criticism because it's poetic. So there's a lot of poetry. So it's many different things as well as historical fact. And so when you get into places like what I say, Genesis 12, in places, there's never been anything uncovered in archaeology that has not supported the claims that the Bible places into historical fact. As a matter of fact, on the History Channel, every once in a while, they act surprised because they uncover something that shows it was the city of David. And so it's the natural skepticism of the Bible. When it's later discovered in archaeology, they'll go, wow, there was really a David. So we have to look at the parts and what the Bible intends.